They're in the gate. And they're off in the Don Valprado Cal Cup Sprint. The Chosen Vron and Resilient going out to battle for the lead, joined by I'll Stand Taller, one from the rail, and Big City Lights just off the pace in fourth. Tigre de Sluggo is 4 lengths off the lead, and stretch running Phineas at the back of the field. The Chosen Vron narrowly in front while in hand. Leads it by just about a neck. On the outside, Resilient tries to press him in second. I'll Stand Taller drops back a bit third. Big City Lights goes to his outside, 2 clear of Tigre de Sluggo, and another 5 to Phineas. Less than 3/8 to go. It's the Chosen Vron and Resilient stride for stride. 3 back, Big City Lights clearly into third. Tigre de Sluggo takes fourth. They're at the top of the stretch. The Chosen Vron at the rail. Resilient, Big City Lights tips to the outside to try and come after the Chosen Vron with a furlong left to go. The Chosen Vron kicks clear by 2. Big City Lights moves into second. Resilient is third. Past the 16th, the Chosen Vron gets a big test from Big City Lights. Here is the line. The Chosen Vron. He can do it all. And he fought off Big City Lights. Photo for third between Tigre de Sluggo and Resilient in the Don Valprado Cal Cup Sprint.
Handicapper might have. When you see the horses closing on the Chosen Vron, you know he's got it down, right?
Well, actually, I didn't know, because it was kind of a different spot for him to be on the lead, and
the second race will be run at 5 1/2 furlongs on turf. It's the beginning of the early. They're in the gate. And they're off. Moon Ice had a very quick start. So did Not for Lack of Effort. And on the inside, here's Milo's Papa. Milo's Papa speeds clear by 2. Transitory is in a battle for second with Not for Lack of Effort, and Moon Ice is in between those two. Spiritual Advisor, a joint fifth, having to steady with no room at this stage. Lonesome Stew also in just a tad tight. Bronco Nagurski goes by that pair and is 5 lengths off the lead. Chrome to Riches moves up now nicely to take fourth midway on the far turn. Then Regulation Dazed has about 8 or 9 lengths to make up. It's another 2 back to Victory Matters. Spiritual Advisor, the distant trailer is both at fault. They turn for home, and it's Mila's Papa with a 2-length lead. Moon Ice angles out, trying to close the gap, but lugging in just a touch. 4 lengths back, Chrome to Riches in the center of the course. Bronco Nagurski in front of him. It's Mila's Papa by a length and a half. Moon Ice with a final try. Mila's Papa was just too speedy. Holds on by a head. Moon Ice just missed. Spiritual Advisor and eye-catching third. Behind them, it was Bronco Nagurski, and it's close for fifth. Grows. But remember that there is a mandatory payout in the Rainbow Six today, starting with race 5. Also, I'll be the last one to load. They moved in quickly. And they're off. Sassy Nature, Bajan Bashert came away in good order. She's Not Kidding on the far outside. 3 more to Timely Luck in fourth, already 6 lengths off the speedy leader. Danehill's Song and Kind of Blue is at the back. It's Sassy Nature coming to the half-mile pole, leading the way by 2 lengths. She's Not Kidding is second. Bajan Bashert at the rail in third. Then Timely Luck fourth, about 3.5 lengths off the pace. Danehill's Song and Kind of Blue is far back, 3 furlongs from the money. And Sassy Nature has been the controlling speed, leading the way by a length as She's Not Kidding in second. Timely Luck has claimed third. Bajan Bashert is down at the rail, 4 lengths off the leader, Sassy Nature, who once again opens up at the top of the stretch. It's Sassy Nature off the rail, but in front by 4. Bajan Bashert moves into second. She's Not Kidding is third, coming to the 16th, and it's Sassy Nature with a commanding and insurmountable lead. Sassy Nature, another for Edwin Maldonado as he peeks back, romping home by 8 lengths. Bajan Bashert second best. She's Not Kidding and Timely Luck. 15% takeout. Good luck. And they're off. Fast start for Larry's Legend, Joe Don Ludy, and Moose Mitchell on the far outside has plenty of early gas. They're joined by Thornhouse, who shoots through on the inside, and Thornhouse is the new leader. At the rail, Queen's Code in the red is very prominent as well, and these two are now stride for stride with Moose Mitchell just outside of them. Larry's Legend is fourth. Then comes Press On, racing on the inside of Joe Don Looney. Larry's Legend losing a couple of spots behind them. Smile for Glory is next. Alpine Thunder, with less than a half mile left to go, is toward the back of the field with Four Flag, and Cyber Truck is the trailer. They have a quarter of a mile to go, and it's Thornhouse. Moose Mitchell challenges on the outside second. Just behind them, Queen's Code. Larry's Legend is about 5 wide, turning for home. Top of the stretch, and Thornhouse clinging to the lead, chased intently by Moose Mitchell in second. Queen's Code at the rail in third, and then Joe Don Looney coming to the 16th pole. Thornhouse a length and a half trying to finish the job. Joe Don Looney on the outside trying to rally belatedly with Queen's Code at the rail, but Thornhouse is too strong. Thornhouse leads them virtually every step. Queen's Code second. Photo Joe Don Looney and Moose Mitchell. Press On completes the super high five. Luck. Charbonneau. They're in the gate. And they're off. Charbonneau and King Zog both alert out of there, but it's Soul of Midnight who's quicker than all, and Soul of Midnight takes the lead pretty easily. Doratus is now into second. Big Drinker in between horses moves up in the line to take second. King Zog, Charbonneau on the far outside, then stay in the game. The distant trailer is Uncle Walt. The leader, Soul of Midnight, past the half-mile pole, leading by a half length to Big Drinker in second. King Zog a 3 wide third. They're followed by Stay in the Game, getting into it now with the yellow blinkers, just 2 lengths off the battle up top. Charbonneau on the outside. Doratus is down at the rail, 4 lengths off the lead, and another 3 back to Uncle Walt. They have a quarter of a mile to go, and it's Soul of Midnight on the inside, trying to hold that lead. Been there every step of the way with Big Drinker pressing in second. Just behind them, King Zog gets into third, followed by Stay in the Game. They're a furlong from the finish. Soul of Midnight, Big Drinker, Stay in the Game comes alive on the outside. They're inside the 16th pole. Soul of Midnight, Stay in the Game. Stay in the Game has the momentum, and Stay in the Game gets up under Tiago Pereira. Soul of Midnight, Big Drinker, both fired big. King Zog was fourth. It pays to be Calbred. And they're off in the Sunshine Millions Filly and Mare Turf Sprint, presented by John Deere. Sunshine Babe is quick, but there are a host of them battling for the lead. La Deuxième Étoile now comes through pretty quickly, and La Deuxième Étoile takes a narrow lead. Alice Marble is up and right on the pace, and Taming the Tigress just outside of them. They're followed by Eddie's New Dream, and here's Big Summer coming through quickly along the inside, and Big Summer wants a piece of that lead. Bella D is toward the back of the field. Sunshine Babe is right next to her, and Tam's Little Angel is at the back of the field. The battle continues up top, including Clean Karma and the red colors between rivals. Big Summer is down at the rail, fighting on very willingly with a quarter of a mile to go. These two are stride for stride. Clean Karma on the outside. Big Summer at the rail. Big Summer now tries to sneak away and opens up a length and a half. Just behind them, Eddie's New Dream looking for a seam along the inside. And Alice Marble is finishing well too, a 16th to run. Big Summer 2-length lead. Alice Marble on the outside and Eddie's New Dream. Eddie's New Dream trying to get to Big Summer, but Big Summer just keeps on going. And it's Big Summer and Joe Bravo to win the Sunshine Millions Filly and Mare Turf Sprint, presented by John Deere. Eddie's New Dream and Alice Marble. At their Yamava Theater. Coming up in January and February, Yamava Theater presents Leslie Jones, REO Speedway. They're in the gate. And they're off in the California Cup Derby. Give Her Not a Taker and Thirsty John dueling for the early lead. Merit Song is in the firing line. So is Crypto Ride and Geezer. So there's a real scramble on as they head past the 7/8 pole. Passerando is down at the rail. And the distant early trailer is Amigo GA. Thirsty John hugs the rail and leads it by a neck. Give Her Not a Taker under a strong hold in second. And Crypto Ride makes it 3 across the track with 5.5 furlongs to go. It's 2 more back to Passerando and Geezer right together. Merit Song just behind them, 6 clear of Amigo GA. Down the back stretch. And it's Thirsty John maintaining the lead and now asked to widen, does so by a length and a half. Give Her Not a Taker, Crypto Ride, they both cut right back into that margin. Another 3, Passerando has asked for a bit more in fourth, heading to the 3/8. Geezer is next. 2 more to Merit Song and Amigo GA. It's Thirsty John who's been there every step of the way. Give Her Not a Taker. The Peter Miller runners 1-2 coming to the quarter pole. 4 lengths back to Crypto Ride in third. Geezer is fourth, 7 off the lead. Passerando is down at the rail. They turn for home, and Thirsty John digging in gamely, drifts out while widening. He's in front by 2 coming to the 8th pole. Give Her Not a Taker trying his best. 4 back to Passerando, gaining a little bit of ground. A 16th to run. Hernandez trying to get it done with Thirsty John on the front end. Give Her Not a Taker a final lunge. Here is the line. Thirsty John wins the Cal Cup Derby. Give Her Not a Taker, second best. Passerando and Crypto Ride. Up next, the 8th, the Leanne Howard California Cup Oaks. We have a program scratcher number 5. Post time on the board in 22 minutes. They're in the gate. And they're off in the Leanne Howard California Cup Oaks. Even beginning, cast member on the far outside has some speed, as does Charlie. And in between those two, Sell the Dream. And Sell the Dream is quicker than all. Loyal to a Fault, fourth in the early going. Golden again is guided to the outside. At the back of the field, Carol Lombard grazed my heart and Quickly Park it 3 wide and last. Flavien Prat has Sell the Dream on the front end, less than 6 furlongs to go. Cast member clearly into second, just 3/4 off the leader. Then it's Charlie in third, followed by Loyal to a Fault, 5 lengths off the leader. Another 2 to Golden again, outside Carol Lombard, who's covered up at this stage. At the back, Graze My Heart and Quickly Park it, or stride for stride. Half mile to go in the Leanne Howard Cal Cup Oaks. And Sell the Dream has been there every step of the way. In hand, just under a length. Cast member is in second, gets a nudge to go after her now. At the rail, Charlie third and Loyal to a Fault just outside of her fourth. 3 lengths off the lead as they head toward the 5/16. Carol Lumgard is looking for racing room now, trying to get out, and finds a little bit of a seam with a quarter of a mile to go. Sell the Dream, cast member right up alongside. They'll come to the 8th pole together. 3 back to Charlie in 3rd. In the center, Carol Lombard is finishing with a bit of interest, and here's Grazed My Heart. And Grazed My Heart is coming nicely on the outside. Sell the Dream, cast member, Grazed My Heart on the outside. Grazed My Heart, Sell the Dream. Photo finish, very tight in the Leanne Howard Cal Cup Oaks. A thriller between Grazed My Heart and Sell the Dream. They hit the wire together. Super High Five, $4,005.30. Leia's Candy to the outside. And they're off. Holiday Arousal is out quickly. Mr. T's Thirsty matches strides, and I Know Cash Flow comes through on the inside, protects the rail, and takes command into the first turn. So it's I Know Cash Flow opening up a 2-length lead. Mr. T's Thirsty is now in 2nd. No Longer a Hobby is the gray down on the rail in 3rd. Then it's Holiday Arousal, who broke on top, but is now about 4 or 5 lengths off the lead. Joined 3 wide by Leia's Candy, the 2 trailers, Big Talker and Donner Lake. They swing onto the backstretch, and I Know Cash Flow leads it by 1.5 lengths. On the outside, an eager Leia's Candy will have no part of it, and Leia's Candy wants to lead and takes it with 5 furlongs to run. 1.5 lengths, Mr. T's Thirsty 3rd. No Longer a Hobby is down on the inside. Donner Lake joins widest of all. Holiday Arousal between those two. Big Talker trails, but this field is covered by less than 4 lengths. Rounding the turn, it's Leia's Candy in front, trying to widen now. Quickly puts 3/4 of a length on I Know Cash Flow. Donner Lake, who made that early bid, moves up to claim 2nd. Clear sailing for Big Talker, Red Cap, far outside, trying to rally late. They turn for home. This one goes through Leia's Candy, lets it out a notch at the top of the stretch, and has a 3-length advantage with 1/8 of a mile to go. Donner Lake, I Know Cash Flow, stride for stride, battling for 2nd with Mr. T's Thirsty and Big Talker, but only to complete the exacta as Leia's Candy dominates. Leia's Candy strolls in by 6. Donner Lake holds 2nd. Big Talker, I Know Cash Flow, and Mr. T's Thirsty. So riding double for Juan Hernandez, 2 winners. The 10th and final on this Cal Cup day is the Unusual Heat Turf Classic, and it's presented by City National Bank. Post time in 20 minutes. They're in the gate. And they're off in the Unusual Heat Turf Classic, presented by City National Bank. Kings River Knight broke outward, but he did break very alertly. Doc Adams along the inside has a narrow advantage, and Colinga Road is in between them. Bang for Your Buck 4th in the early going, now moving up to claim 3rd as they pass the stands the first time. Aligato is now in 5th. He's followed by Carmelita's Man, outside Royal and Rando, and another 3 to Love Love. Frankie Dettori and Kings River Knight on the outside. Doc Adams at the rail concedes the early lead and is in 2nd as they head past the 6 furlong pole. It's Kings River Knight, 1.5 lengths in front. Bang for Your Buck takes 2nd. Doc Adams at the rail in 3rd. Colinga Road 4th. Aligato is next, followed by Carmelita's Man, 6 lengths off the new leader, Bang for Your Buck. Another 3/4 back to Royal and Rando, and 2 more to Love Love. There's a 1/2 mile to go in the Unusual Heat Turf Classic, presented by City National Bank. And Bang for Your Buck is the leader by 1 length. Kings River Knight is in 2nd. Doc Adams in the clear 3rd. Colinga Road a bit wide, but making a tiny bit of headway. Aligato hugs that rail in 3rd, only 2.5 lengths off the pace. Carmelita's man has been patiently handled. He'll need to find racing room. Love making a wide bid now. And Royal and Rando trails there at the top of the stretch. King's River Knight re-engages up to take the lead. Allegato desperately needs room. Coalinga Road running a giant race, and Love in the center of the course. Coming to the 16th pole. Coalinga Road now hits the front. King's River Knight trying to match strides. Coalinga Road just in front at the wire. Coalinga Road and Johnny V to take the Unusual Heat Turf Classic presented by City National Bank. Allegato got out late and was flying home along with Love in an exciting renewal.
Zoe Cadman here with Sunday's Coast to Coast Pick 5. It's a $1 wager with a low 15% takeout. Got some help here. Many thanks to Ron Nicoletti. Let's take a look at our ticket as we will start at Gulfstream Park, a race number 5. It's a maiden special weight, 7.5 furlongs on the turf. And Ron goes with 3 firsters from Top Connections in here. The 1, Sassiness. The 3, Make the Boys Wink, and the 8, A Breath Away for Clement and Rosario. Let's move on to race number 8. The same conditions. It's a split of race 5. He goes with a 12-1 shot with number 1, Her Ladyship for Rusty Arnold. The 2, Loriana, a firster for Gaffleon and Clement, and the 11, A Moral Turpitude, who comes out of some really good races behind Monsters Erna and Julia Shining. Gulfstream Park, race number 9, a 1-mile allowance optional claimer. The 5, Mr. Ripple, and the 6, a Ruckus Man. My turn now. Let's go to Santa Anita, race number 5. $32,000 claim is going a mile and 1/8 on the turf. I'm going to single 5-2, Flint Stroll, D'Amato, Pratt. Should the also eligible get in, that is the 10, Derek O'Dandy. I'm going to use him as well. Race number 7 is a turf grab bag. I would go all if I had lots of money, but I don't. So I'm using the 1, Princess Bettina, the 3, Excelia, the 5, the Wild Grazen, and the 7, Aranetti. Should the also eligible get in, fun money number 9, I'm going to use that. Best of luck.
You're looking at the lineup for the new wager called the Coast to Coast $1 Pick 5. It's offered every Saturday and Sunday. It's got a low 15% takeout. And as you can see, today's schedule includes 3 races from Gulfstream Park and 2 races from Sandy. The most important thing to take note of is the first race in today's $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5 goes as race 5 at Gulfstream Park, and post time is at 11:10 a.m. Pacific. That's in 13 minutes. So definitely make sure you get involved. To show you how lucrative it can be if you do get involved is that yesterday's pool, $464,000 was wagered into the $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5, and the winning payout was $1,017. So thanks to all of you horse players for embracing the inaugural rendition of the $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5. Hi, everybody. My name's Tom Quigley, VIP Player Concierge, also your seminar host for the next 33 minutes or so. And it's not every day that we get a PhD and a professor to be our seminar guest today, but today that's exactly what the case is. I'm welcome to introduce as my special guest today, Mr. Paul Weizer. Paul, happy Sunday. Welcome to the seminar.
Thank you, Tom. Glad to be here.
You've been my seminar guest before, but it's been quite some time. Now, getting a PhD is pretty impressive. Being a professor is more impressive. We'll get to that in a moment. But how'd you get involved in this crazy game of ours?
I've been doing races since I was a teenager. I went to the races for the first time when I was 12 or 13 years old.
Did your parents bring you? Did you go with a friend?
Split $2 bets with my next door neighbor, hit a trifecta in the last race, which was all the money in the world.
And the rest was history. You were hooked.
Yeah,
now, when your parents found out you went to the racetrack, did they kind of give you a spanking and slap your wrist, or what happened?
My mother had the approach that I would go, lose all my money, and learn my lesson. Fortunately, that hasn't happened yet, so we'll see.
As a matter of fact, you haven't lost money. You've made money at the races. You're an avid tournament player.
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I know you've qualified for the NHC multiple times.
17.
17 times. And how many NHCs have there been? Maybe 20, 22?
Something like that.
17 out of 22. And what's your best finish in the National Handicapping
Ironically,
Championship?
17th, which got me about $17,000.
Sure, fair enough. And I looked on your Twitter page, Paul, before the seminar today, and I noticed that you have a picture of Zenyatta as part of your profile. What's the importance of that picture?
My first Breeders' Cup was Zenyatta's Breeders' Cup win here, the most exciting race I've ever seen still live. The grandstand was shaking. People were cheering so loud. It was the most amazing sporting event I've ever seen. I'll never forget it.
Now, the Breeders' Cup betting challenge was part of that event as well. Did you have any money on Zenyatta? Did that either move you up or down in the standings?
I did not. I called my wife afterwards, and she said, even I know to bet Zenyatta, but I wasn't smart enough at that one.
We know that Paul Weizer is smart. Like I mentioned, he's got a PhD. He's also a professor back east. We're probably going to have about 6,000 people on track today. I'm going to make a bet that Paul traveled the farthest in order to join us. His residence is in the state of Massachusetts, so he came a long way to be a seminar guest and enjoy the proceedings here at Santa Anita. We're going to find out who Paul likes on today's 9-race card, but before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes. There's one very significant scratch in the Santa Anita, so you want to pay attention, and we'll come back right after Frank makes those announcements.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place. The track is fast. The turf course is rated as firm. Here are the early changes. Keep in mind the Coast to Coast Pick 5 is about to get rolling in 10 minutes. In the first, scratch number 10, Ship and Scamp. Second race is the start of the early Pick 4. The first, of course, starts the early Pick 5. No changes in race 2. In the third race, no changes. Blinker note in race 4, start of the Rainbow 6. We had the mandatory payout yesterday, fresh pool today. Fifth, scratch the 10, Derecho Dandy, start of the late Pick 5. The 6th, the grade 3, Santa Ynez. Scratch number 3, Justique. There's no superfecta wagering, and of course there is a revised morning line. In the 7th, scratch 7, Araniti, 10 thread count, and 11 Havana Angels. 7, 10, 11 are all out. 8, the grade 3 Sham, no super wagering. Scratch 3, Speedboat Beach. Golden Hour pick 4 starts with the 8th. Golden Hour double starts with the 9th. And in the 9th, scratch number 9, Rip City. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park. Post time for the first is in 58 minutes at 12 noon. Let's get back to Quigley's Corner. Tom's guest today is Paul Weizer.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with horse player Paul Weizer. He's the rare breed of horse player that has a PhD as well as being a college professor. And Paul, before we get a look at your selections for today's 9-race card, I noticed in your resume that you actually have 3 different degrees from Temple University. What prompted you to continue getting degrees?
Really not knowing what else I wanted to do with my life, so I just kept going to school, and then it worked out. When I was in the PhD program, I got to teach for the first time. It's not something I ever really considered, but I liked it. I think I'm pretty good at it. And so the rest is history.
What curriculum do you teach?
I teach political science. I do American government, which is a fascinating topic these days.
I can only imagine.
And I do public law, so I do a lot of constitutional law stuff.
While you were at Temple University for multiple years, did you attend Parks Racing or Keystone Park or whatever it was called back then?
I grew up on those. It was Keystone, then it was Philadelphia Park, then it was Parks, same building. But yeah, no, I've done that. I think I've been to 34 different thoroughbred racetracks in North America. And so I've been around a lot, but I love them all.
And you have friends out here on the West Coast. Did you come and visit on a regular basis? And of course, you're a frequent visitor to Santa Anita as well. What is it about Santa Anita that you think makes it so magical to people that really want to come out and, visit the track, for the first time?
Yeah, Santa Anita is just an amazing place. The views here, the vibe of it, the people, you yourself included, it's just an amazing track. Other than Keeneland, this is probably my favorite place to be live. And anyone who hasn't been here, you owe it to yourself to get out to Santa Anita at some point.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here, Paul, not only as a horse player on track today, but also as the seminar guest. So let's see if the professor can teach us some educational lessons on today's 9-race card. So we kick things off in race number 1, which of course begins the 50-cent early pick 5. We're on the turf course today. The conditions are fast and firm. Thankfully, no rain here in Southern California, and the rails are at 30 feet. This first race is for Calbred, maiden special weight 3-year-old. Scratch the also eligible leaves us with a field of 9. Take note the Maury Line favorite is number 1, Thirsty Pappy from the Peter Miller Bar. Note the sire, Stay Thirsty, sired 2 winners yesterday, including the winner of the Cal Cup Derby, Thirsty John. 5-2 on John White's morning line. I will point out the trainer of number 3, Hondo Crunch, is Mark Glatt. Why do I bring that up? It's his birthday today, so happy birthday, Mark. And number 5, Star Prospect, is a first-time gelding, and currently Thirsty Pappy is the 3-1 morning line favorite. Give us your thoughts on race 1, Paul.
So this is a very wide open race. Many horses trying turf for the first time, so not a lot to go on. But to me, the horse that stands out is the 6, Here Comes Georgie, simply because he's proven that he can run on the turf, and he's proven that he can run 2 turns. And so to me, he's a standout in the field. I thought the price would be a little better than it is right now, but hopefully that drifts up a little. And so to me, it's all Here Comes Georgie, number 6.
And we also see like number 8, Workday, a son of Accelerate, making just the 3rd lifetime start. Lasix go on, blinkers go on. What is it about Workday that you like?
Well, he gets Pratt, which is a nice jockey upgrade. Sadler's deadly off this layoff type of move, and he should certainly appreciate a stretch out in distance. So he'd be the other one for me.
6 and 8 in race number 1. Before we take a look at race number 2, Paul, a question for you. You're a scholar, and so I assume you keep copious notes on your wagering records and habits. Are there certain races that you prefer or maybe you excel at as compared to others? Do you like turf racing? Do you like routes, sprints, maidens, stakes races? Like, what do you consider to be your forte?
And I'll bet anything, of course, but but I do prefer turf racing and routes in particular. I think that they hold together more, that speed makes more of a difference in those types of things, and trips can be less pronounced than they are in sprints. So again, I'll play them all, but turf routes are my specialty.
And turf routes are kind of tactical from a jockey standpoint as well, right? It's kind of like a thinking man's game. You want to save ground. You want to find position. There's some jockeys that seem to find a lot of trouble on the turf course. There's others who seem to find no trouble. I'm guessing that's one of the reasons why you enjoy handicapping those races.
Without a doubt. And my friends tell me this all the time too, but there are very few jockeys who ride the turf course well out here, and that can make a real big difference. Anybody can ride the dirt course, but the turf is a different animal.
I mentioned earlier in the opening, Paul, that you're an avid tournament player, and I'm always trying to entice players who maybe have not played in tournaments to participate in tournaments because basically you're competing with a zero takeout. You're competing against a smaller field of players as opposed to just in the pari-mutuel pool. What selling points would you give to players who might be watching who have never played in a tournament before?
And the biggest thing is what you hit on. The hardest thing about being successful in horse racing is beating the takeout. And you can play in a contest where there's prize money put up and there's zero takeout involved. You're already ahead of the game before you get started, and that's the thing that attracted me to it in the beginning from a mathematical standpoint. Second, when you play in some of these big money contests, you know that someone in that contest is going to leave with a lot of money, and that's not something that's guaranteed when you just go to the track for a day of races. And then third, and perhaps most importantly, is the chance to meet other people who have similar interests and ideas. Some of my closest friends in life I've met through horse racing and through contests, and the friendships I developed over the years is the biggest benefit to me.
And an important point to make, I think, Paul, in addition to what you said, is a lot of new players who have not played in tournaments before are intimidated by those of us who have played for a lot of years. But the truth of the matter is, now with the online tournaments and some of the on-track tournaments, you can really play at your own price point and not be intimidated because you can kind of stick your little toe in the water.
Absolutely.
We have a weekend $40 contest as one example that you can play on track. There's multiple online tournaments at ExpressBet, FirstBet, HorseTourneys.com. So there's many ways you can kind of just see if tournaments are for you.
And they're all fun, right? I play in the $10,000 Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge contest, but I'm going to play in the $40 contest today too, because it's the same concept. It's still fun. It's still putting your matching wits against others. It's still having action and an enjoyable way of doing it. And again, those $40 contests here are a tremendous value because sometimes they're giving away more in prize money than they're taking in entry fees. And again, it's a small field you're playing with, and the upside is really good.
And there's game theory involved as well, which I think a lot of us who are competitive find very interesting and intriguing because you're trying to establish what the winning score in the tournament might be and how you're going to get to that particular number. Don't worry, we're going to show you the first leg of the $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5 from Gulfstream Park. They're at least 3 minutes away from post and maybe more, but we'll break away for that first leg when it's time and when it's time for them to go into the post. So we'll continue on with the analysis here at San Ito in race number 2, which begins the 50-cent early Pick 4. This race is 1 mile on the main track for maiden claiming fillies and mares, $20,000 of the claiming tag. A field of 6, the morning line favorite number 5, Margot's Girl, a daughter of Clubhouse Ride, who's 2-1 on the morning line. However, before we get your thoughts on the race, Paul, we want to take a look at the replay for number 1, Moonlight in Heaven, who just has one career start. That was at Los Alamitos on December 9th in the 8th race. She breaks from post position number 3, and we're going to show the head on here because you thought, in your estimation, that this trouble that she encountered at the break might have impacted her ability to win the race.
Without a doubt.
She's the gray that you can see kind of got bumped on both sides.
Yeah. And that's what happened. You know, first time starter coming out at any time, they're inexperienced and they don't know what's happening. And then you get horses on both sides come over and sandwich you. And, you know, she lost all position at that point. It was awfully tough. He did come wide through the stretch. He wasn't really asked for much, but he ran well through the stretch. He ran straight. He finished strong. And I think he's the horse to beat here. He should get a lot of fitness out of that. He got a lot of experience out of that. He should move up well. Hopefully show some speed from the inside.
And you're also trying to beat the favorite in the exacta with number 4, Worthiness, who's had 10 lifetime starts. What is it about Worthiness that you like to complete the exacta?
Well, I mean, I don't like Worthiness to win because he doesn't win races, but even though he's professional bait, he's just run faster than these other horses. And so there's nothing on the form that should indicate that anybody else can run as fast as him. While he doesn't like to win, he's a good type to fill out the bottom of the exacta. I'm definitely against the morning line favorite. You know, plunging all the way down, trying dirt for the first time. I'm not sure what it is other than the weakness of the field that's supposed to wake him up. And so he can win at a short price, but he'll do it without me.
Still a couple of minutes to post for the Coast to Coast Pick 5, combining the races from Gulfstream Park and San Ito. You can see the current pool is now at $120,000 and growing. I'd be remiss, Paul, if we didn't talk about the ownership group for your top selection in race number 2. Number 1, Moonlight in Heaven. Take a look at the ownership name. NHC Table 24 Racing, LLC. They obviously are avid tournament players. As you well know, a lot of the players like to sit at the same table every year. This particular gentleman lives in the Arizona area. Do you happen to know any of the people involved?
I don't.
Yeah,
who are the names, do you know?
Matt something from Phoenix, Arizona. I certainly want to meet him today if he's on track. And Tim Yachtine is the trainer. And Tim Yachtine, you follow Southern California racing very closely. You know that typically his horses do improve with racing. So second-time starters, it's likely that Moonlight in Heaven will improve. Do you use a lot of statistical information for your handicapping?
Yeah, Thorograph is my primary base figures. I use net PPs and racing flow figures as well. There's so much data out there, you can only do so much with it. But Theragraph is my starting point in all of these.
Any of your students happen to enjoy horse racing, or do you not share your passion with them?
I don't hide it. I have lots of winter circle photos in my office and other things from my ownership days, but no, I haven't come across any who I've gone to the track with.
And refresh my memory, is Rockingham Park basically being revitalized?
No, it's done. Suffolk Downs is done. There's really nothing left around me, which is why I have to come to California to go to the races.
Well, make no mistake, Saratoga in the summer is certainly right down the road there, the New York Thruway.
Not bad.
And you can see the horses are starting to approach the starting gate, but again, we'll show them once they break from the gate. Current pool in the Coast to Coast Pick 5 is now up to $144,000 as we approach post time. What is it about horse racing that maybe the younger generation doesn't understand? I mean, I'm sure some people look at those photos in your office and say, well, what's this all about? What are the barriers? In other words, a quick answer, what are the barriers preventing us from attracting more younger people?
Well, part of it is the data part, right? That you have to spend a lot of money before you walk in the door and have a chance to be able to do things. If I want to bet sports, which is much more popular with the younger crowd now, and I can get free information on any sport I want, going back as far as I want, and here, by the time I sit down here at the table, I'd pay $25 for my Theragraph sheets, and normally you'd have to pay for admission, you have to pay for a racing forum, you have to pay for a seat. It's a hard thing to overcome. And I hope we wake up and figure that we got to do a better job with that, Equibase, if you're listening.
And we're a cash business as well. And the younger generation, as you well know, is really into plastic and debit cards and Venmo and things of that nature. Cash is almost like a foreign utility to them.
That's a fact. But, even in sports, you have to have cash to bet, or you're betting through an ADW, which we have too. So hopefully that will come around. I mean, racing has opportunities that sports betting don't have. You have the quick action, which should appeal, right? Where there's a race coming up all the time. There's always something going on. That you don't have to wait 3 hours to cash your bet after you go and make it. The chance to have big, huge, life-changing scores, both on track and in contests in particular, is something that should really appeal. So, yeah, I'd encourage anybody. This is the game.
$164,000 as they're loading into the gate for leg A of the $1 Coast to Coast Pick 5. This is day number 2 of wagering on this particular wager. It's offered every weekend from both Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita. As they're loading in the gate, let's toss it over to track announcer Pete Aiello down at Gulfstream Park and find out who wins leg A.
Starship Sigron going forward. Last two up are Olympic Prank and Mystify. Holding 5-2, Breathe Away. 3-1, Elysian Field. On the outside, Mystify will complete the line. Mystify and the 5th. They're Renegade. And they're off. Good start for Worst Behavior and Typey. They're the first two to begin. This favorite came away in pretty good shape. Breathe Away. Rosario works over to the rail. She races a joint 4th. Up to the outside goes Mystify. Then it's Olympic Prank and Elysian Field. Starship Sigron is next, racing outside of Sassiness. She's 4th last. 3rd last, Way Too Early. 2nd last is Make the Boys Wink. Miranda's Rocky is the trailer. They make their way to the backstretch, and Typey has the lead, leads by almost 2. 2nd is Worst Behavior. Breathe Away is 3rd at the fence. Followed 4th by Mystify, then back to Elysian Field. 3 deep for Starship Sigron. 2-path, Olympic Prank, a length and a half better than Sassiness, then back to Way Too Early. Still toward the back is Make the Boys Wink, and not keeping up early is Miranda's Rocky. 24 seconds for the opening quarter. There's half a mile to race. Typey and jockey Javier Castellano make the fractions. They lead a length and a half. Worst Behavior is in a flanking position 2nd. Pocketed up is Breathe Away 3rd.
Mystify is there. Fourth, Elysian Field begins to hunt Racing Room. Olympic Prank is in very tight. Starship Sig Run is wide on the course. Then Sassiness and Way Too Early as they pass the quarter pole and turn for home. It's Typey still the target. 3/4 complete. Typey leads. Trying to work to the clears. Breathe Away bracketed in by Worst Behavior. There's an 1/8 of a mile to go. It's still Typey in front. Rosario clear now with Breathe Away, who's trying to switch gears. Down the center, an Olympic Prank. Final 16th of a mile. Here comes Breathe Away surging forward. Breathe Away, well prepared by Christophe Clement, and a going away winner. Typey was second from way back. Make the Boys Wink is third in 129 and 4.
Looks like 5-2 post-time favorite gets up in leg number A. As I mentioned, some favorites won yesterday as well in the inaugural debut of the $1 coast-to-coast pick 5. That payout was in excess of $1,000. So still hope for those of you who enjoy long shots on your exotic wagers. Coming back here to Santa Anita, Paul, let's take a look at race number 3. We're back on the turf course. 1 mile is the distance for Calbred. Allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. A field of 7. Morning line favorite, once again from the Peter Miller barn, is number 3, Forgiving Spirit. 2-1 on the morning line. 2 wins from 9 lifetime starts, both on the turf course. Give us your thoughts on race 3.
Yeah, this is a very evenly matched group. I could really make a case for almost anybody. But my top pick here is going to be the number 1, Bodacious. He came off a 551-day layoff in his last race at a distance that's far too short. It was clearly just a prep for this. And even though it was a prep, he ran back to his lifetime best Theragraph figure. And I figure off the bench, he got a lot of fitness from that. They should set him up well. He doesn't need to improve much to win, and he's going to be a square price. So I like the number 1, Bodacious.
It's as easy as 1-2. Message of Path you have second, but I do have a question for you about Bodacious. You talked about all the different information you're trying to secure in order to make an opinion, including Theragraph, the brisk past performances. Are race replays an active part of your handicapping arsenal?
Sure. Yeah, no. Yeah, you have to watch replays if you want to be successful. Because everybody's going from the same information, and one way to separate what you have from others is to use your own eyes and not rely on the short chart comments, which oftentimes are far from accurate.
Umberto Reese-Pili, Joe Bravo, ride your top 2 selections. What was it about Mr. Pat that you like as well?
Yeah, I mean, she's just fast. I mean, she's had 2 good numbers in a row. She's got a progressive Theragraph pattern. A new top here wouldn't be a surprise, and a new top would probably win it. So, those are the 2. I'd also look at the number 5, who just broke maiden, but has numbers that fit as well.
Let's take a look at race number 4. It begins the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6 sequence today. And as you know, there was a mandatory payout yesterday. Winning tickets paid in excess of $2,000 for a 20-cent wager. So we start fresh today. No jackpot carryover. But again, if you're the only winning ticket in today's sequence, whatever is in the pool will be yours to take home. And we kick things off here, going 1 mile on the main track for maiden claiming 3-year-olds. $40,000 is the claiming tag. There is 2 first-time geldings. Number 3, Clooney, who's the 8-5 favorite. By the way, don't tell George Clooney that he's a first-time gelding, but Clooney, the horse, is a first-time gelding. Number 4, Post Facto, is also a first-time gelding. This was another difficult race. I think the way we're kind of setting these races up, Paul, the early pick 5 could pay something.
It's a very challenging sequence for sure. And these 2 horses are ones I really want to highlight too, because I think Post Facto, the 4, is definitely the horse to play here. He was claimed by Sadler for 50 last time out. He returns as a first-time gelding, as you mentioned, and that move makes a lot of sense. Right? He wasn't a flashy breeding. He was just claimed. They obviously figure there's something that's going to improve them. Even on the small drop, if they win here and get a claim with the purse, they're going to make a nice profit, and Sadler runs them where they fit. So I think this horse really makes a lot of sense, and that move is logical. Contrast that with the 3 in Clooney, where they paid $760,000 for this horse, debuted him on the turf, which you would not think is where you'd begin a $760,000 colt. And then after one try him on the dirt, he did no running in either effort. And then it's right down to 40 claimers, right down to a gelding, fire sale, red lights flashing. They can't wait to get rid of this horse. And, maybe he'll be good enough to win anyway at this level, but I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. I'm going to single Post Facto in my pick 5. He's the horse to beat.
As I've mentioned on previous seminars, with the start of the new year, you'll see in race number 4, all but 1 horse is a first-time Lasix user. That's allowed here in the state of California. No Lasix allowed as a 2-year-old, but once you turn 3, you are allowed to use Lasix. Sometimes that will mess up the handicapping equation. Race number 5, we're back on the turf course. 1 1/8 is the distance. Also, race number 5 begins the 50-cent late pick 5. The condition of race race 5 is $32,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. Scratch the also eligible. That leaves us with a field of 9. Morning line favorite number 7, Flint Stroll, owned and trained by Phil D'Amato, is the 5-2 morning line favorite. We watched a start of a horse in race number 2. Let's watch the start in race number 5 of number 2, Oncoming. You will see when we watch this race from Del Mar back on December 4th that even though he's listed as breaking out of post position number 4, he's actually going to break out of he's going to be breaking out of post position number 5 because of a scratch, and he's going to have a red cap on. You can't miss the trouble that he's going to have breaking out of the gate. So watch the horse that's breaking out of post position number 5. There he checks right there in the red cap. He basically drops down to last. And if you have the past performances in front of you, you can see he makes a middle race move where he basically gets within a neck of the lead. We're not going to watch the entire race for time purposes, but nevertheless, you can see that early trouble out of the gate was significant. I have a feeling that might be one of the reasons why you like Oncoming, Paul.
It is indeed. Yeah, this is a race that's pretty evenly matched, and I definitely wanted a price because of that. And his form is just really dirtied up. 3 races in a row, he's had excuses and legitimate trips. His last race wasn't good. I can't really sugarcoat it, but he was wide. Before that, you just saw the trouble he had at the start and basically lost all chance. The race before that, his last turf race, he broke through the gate pre-race, and that obviously has an impact. And then when they actually did run, was still wide all the way around. I think he's better than what his recent form, his paper form shows, and his past Theragraph numbers certainly indicate he's fast enough to win this race. And so at 12-1 with one of the better turf riders on the courses we were talking about, my top pick is going to be number 2, Oncoming.
And as horse players, Paul, that are always looking for value, we actually like muddied up form. You use that terminology in describing his running lines, but that's kind of what we're looking for,
Absolutely.
right? Things that are overlooked by the betting public, because that's who we're competing against. The more you can excuse more races in his running lines, particularly the current ones, suddenly you can make a case for him, and you're sitting right now looking at a morning line of 12-1.
Yeah, a lot of it is, you look at the paper and look at just the raw numbers, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. But that's why you have to dig a little bit deeper, and you have to do the work and watch the replays and do those things. So you can come across some really good prices.
Race number 6 is the first of 2 stakes races on the card. This race was originally scheduled last Sunday, but you'll recall we canceled racing. So it's being run today. It's the Grade 3 San Ynez for 3-year-old filly, sprinting 7 furlongs on the main track. Race 6 also begins the 50-cent late pick 4 and a key scratch in the San Ynez. Scratch the original morning line favorite, Justique. She'll come back in a few weeks. She had a minor problem. John Sheriff's erred on the side of caution, as he always does. So now we're left with a field of 5 in the morning line favorite. The revised morning line favorite on the bottom is now number 6, Ice Dancing, 6-5 on the morning line. Bob Baffert has 3 of the 5 runners in here. Paul, you picking one of his or looking elsewhere?
Yeah, but here I'm going elsewhere. And even when Justique was in the race, I was going to pick number 6, Ice Dancing. I think she's an absolute stone cold single at this point. She's just faster than all of these others, and they would have to improve an awful lot to catch up with her. This is a horse who debuted in maiden special weight and then went right into graded stakes for her next 2.
As a maiden.
Did not disgrace herself in either one by any means. Dropped back to a maiden race and just easily won and ran by far the fastest figure. There's really not much to say here. I'm going to single number 6, Ice Dancing.
Race number 7, we're on the Hillside Turf Course, which is great to see. This race is for 3-year-old fillies, non-winners of one other than. Scratch the 7, also scratch 2 of the also eligibles. 10 and 11 will not compete. So 7, 10, and 11 in race number 7 have been scratched. That does mean, however, that one of the also eligibles, number 9, Fun Money, will compete in today's race. The morning line favorite, number 5, the Wild Grazer from the Jeff Mullins barn, who had a victory yesterday with a first-time Lasix user. That's the case today. 5-2 on John White's morning line. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the favorite?
Up on this one. This is a very tough race, and one thing that I tell everybody keep in mind, at least early in the meet so far, is in these hill races you need to be 4 early place. Nobody's closing from far back and winning these. So I really want horses that have some early speed, and the Wild Grazer really fits that. This was a very impressive debut. U.S. debut last time, if you watch that race from Del Mar, where he sat about 3rd or 4th, and then when he tipped out, he just blew away the field and crushed for fun. Her 2 European races were really good. You'll notice she ran 3rd behind Victoria Road, who went on and won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, and so obviously the form from that race holds up very well. Her Theragraph pattern suggests more forward improvement, and I think she'll be very tough in this spot. My original second choice scratch, so the other horse I'd mentioned to you here is the number 4 Jordan, who is going to be a nice price on the morning line and should be on the lead. And again, being on the lead down the hill makes her very, very dangerous, and with Flavian Pratt at that.
As the race cards wind down here in California, it's time for the $1 Golden Hour Pick 4, which starts in race number 8. Race number 8 also is our second stakes race on the card. It's the Grade 3 Sham Stakes for 3-year-olds traveling 1 mile on the main track. This will award 10 Kentucky Derby points to the winner as well. One scratch, one of the Bob Baffert runners, number 3, Speedboat Beach, will not compete. The morning line favorite taking blinkers off, also for Bob Baffert, is number 2, National Treasure. 2-1 on the morning line, likely to go lower with the scratch of Speedboat Beach. Let's take a look at the workout for National Treasure back on January 2nd here over the main track at Santa Anita. You can see that he's working solo, not in company. You can also see blinkers are not being worn on this particular workout, which is always a great sign to see. And the most important thing to remember here, and you can see this easily in your racing form, is that the final time, which was a bullet workout for National Treasure, was 1:11.3. And to give you an idea how much faster that was than any other runners working at this particular distance this morning, was that all you have to do is look inside to Newgate's last workout on January 2nd, the same day at the same distance, 1:12.3. So a full second slower. And ironically, that was the second best time at 6 furlongs. So the fact National Treasure here without blinkers, and you can see he's striding out like a powerful horse that certainly looks like he's had more than 3 career starts. Now, I'm not telling you anything that most of the betting public won't know, but both Toby Terrell, who I had on yesterday as my seminar guest, and Andy Harrington from nationalturf.com both agree independently without any sort of consultation that this could be Bob Baffert's best 3-year-old on the trail of the Kentucky Derby. So we'll see if he can validate that high price today in the Sham Stakes. Having said all that, who do you like in the race, Paul?
I completely agree. I think he's a total standout here, too. National Treasure is a really nice horse. And he won his debut very handily, ran into Cave Rock in his next start in a race where I'm not sure how hard they tried to beat Cave Rock, and then was far from disgraced in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, where he drew the far outside post, was very wide all the way around, and still held nicely for third. He's simply faster than these other horses. Mark Latt's got a nice horse here too, but with 4 Baffert horses inside of him, I think he's, from a tactic standpoint, is going to have to work really hard to get there. And so I'll single National Treasure on all of mine, and I'd probably play Newgate second if I had to.
We close out the day and we close out the week in race number 9, which offers $5 golden hour daily double wagering. Similar concept. Last race here with the last race at Golden Gate. Keep in mind, live racing resumes here at the Great Race Place next Friday. And one thing to note, post time is going to go a half hour later. Starting next Friday, post time almost on a regular basis will be 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, except for special days. So take note, next Friday, next day of live racing, 12:30 p.m. post time for the first race. And in race number 9 today, we've got a field of 8. That's because number 9 Rip City declared out of the race. And number 8 Lincoln Hawk is the 5-2 morning line favorite, ridden by that guy Flavian Pratt again. What say you about the nightcap, Paul?
So this is the kind of turf route that I really like, right? Proven horses, quality horses with established form. So there's not a lot of guessing of what their ability is. To me, it's going to take at least a 4 on Theragraph to win this race. And that means there's only 3 horses who can win. My top pick is going to be the longest price of those 3, the number 7 Mecklenburg. I think Mecklenburg will be on the lead here. And that gives him the edge in the way this is run. He's run consistently fast. He's in great form. He's got a Theragraph pattern that suggests a breakthrough is coming, and I think the pace dynamics give him the edge. The other 2 are Lincoln Hawk and Avenue, both horses who have faced graded stakes company going longer, figure to be good here. Lincoln Hawk, very, very dangerous, and Avenue is also good, but he's going to have to come from awfully far back, and that puts him at a disadvantage.
If you got an extra $80,000 lying around in your sock drawer, you can dip in and claim Mecklenburg. Paul thinks that he's going to win race number 9. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. Perhaps he'll turn out to be a really, really nice horse down the road. Paul, it's been a pleasure having you as a seminar guest today. We always love having you here as a guest at the Great Race Place. I always enjoy having you as a seminar guest. We'll do it again sometime soon.
Appreciate it.
Thanks to all of you for watching. Want to wish you nothing but the best of luck. Next voice you hear will be track announcer Frank Miramati, updating us with any late program changes. Have fun, everybody, and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. Here are the early changes. The track is fast, the turf is firm. The rail on the turf is out 30 feet today. First race begins the early pick 5, scratch number 10, Ship and Scam. Second starts the early pick 4. No changes. No changes in the third. Fourth starts the Rainbow 6, fresh pool today. Fifth begins the late pick 5, scratch 10, Derecho Dandy. Sixth, the grade 3 Santa Ynez, scratch 3, Justique, no superfecta wagering, and there is a revised morning line. In the 7th, scratch 7, Araniti, 10, Thread Count, and 11, Havana Angel. 8th race is the grade 3 Sham, scratch 3, Speedboat Beach. Golden Hour pick 4 starts with the 8th. And in the 9th, scratch number 9, Rip City, which begins the Golden Hour double. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place. We're 27 minutes away from the first.